Hello, I'm Charles Hubbell, your host and narrator for our podcast series, Deceived, the Moo Years. Deceived, the Moo Years is the true story of one young man's compelling, at times terrifying, former involvement with the martial arts cult Chung Moo Quan.
The following story you are about to hear is true. It took place between 1980 and 1996. Most of the names have been changed. There are other versions of the story. My name is Russell Johnson, and this one is mine.
Kym is a 6th-degree black belt, 7-time female world karate champion, Hall of Fame member of both the World Karate Union and the United States Martial Arts Alliance, Instructor of the Year in 4 different categories, the founder, creator of Fight Like a Girl training, and author of the Fight Like a Girl book series, and creator of the Fight Like a Girl app. Kym Rock, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to our program, and thank you for joining us today.
And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Would you mind taking us back to telling us, how did you get started in martial arts?
Well, it was by a chance, actually. I met the high school hunk, as you would say it. He went to a private school, and I went to a public school. And, of course, I wasn't Miss Popular. He was Mr. Popular, so when he had an interest in me, of course, that made me very popular at my high school. And long story short, we ended up having a relationship, and we ended up getting married. It turned abusive very quickly, which actually happened before I married him. And I escaped the relationship by sneaking out to take martial arts classes an hour away. And then my karate instructor told me what to do to get away from this man. And that's how the whole program started, and that's how I got into martial arts. It was as a direct result of being an abused, not only an abused fiance, girlfriend, but also a wife.
Interesting. Is this how then Fight Like a Girl program evolved? Is from
yes,
this?
Yes, absolutely. When I started with the whole purpose of being able to protect myself and not ever letting anything hurt me or anyone hurt me again. And then I found out that I was really good at it, and I love to teach. And so I started questioning my karate instructor as a yellow belt. And I actually was silly enough to say, this karate martial arts stuff is crap. It doesn't work. And as we all know, later on, you don't say that to a karate instructor, but he knew my situation, and I put it to him. I'm like, I don't understand why self-defense is working for everyone else in the class, and I feel like I'm doing this correctly, but it's not working for me. And my partner says, you're doing it exactly right, Kym. It's just not going to work for you because you're not strong enough. And then I said, well, what's the point? Because at the time, I was the only female other than another lady. And then I started putting the question to him, and we started developing skills that would work for not just a male person with upper body strength, but for anyone.
It sounds a bit like you're being true to martial arts.
Absolutely.
In the sense that you are developing something that works for your body based on what has come before you.
Exactly, because if it can't work for anybody, then to me, what's the point? So you've got to recreate certain ways that you move your body in order to manipulate and escape. And, I have a good friend of mine, Jason Davis, who has handicapped martial arts. Be a great person for you guys to interview at some point. He actually developed a martial arts program for those who are disabled and handicapped. And it's amazing as to what they can do and escape as well. So he's also staying true to the martial arts, letting people know that you don't have to be, you don't have to be an MMA, UFC person to escape, but you can teach a UFC and MMA people how to fight like a girl, which is what I did in Sydney, Australia last spring.
It's remarkable. I think that I love the idea of a progressive martial arts, of an evolution in martial arts, so that you're not stuck in old forms.
Right.
I understand loving and keeping those old forms, but I really am excited about evolving them.
I think that there's no particular martial arts that is better than the other. I think that we can all take something from all the martial arts that will work together cohesively. And that's what I have done with the Fight Like a Girl program. I've worked with several different masters over the years, and a lot of the things that I took from them was because it worked. And then we try all these different techniques with my karate instructor, and then we just implemented it into a program that has became what it is today, Fight Like a Girl, and the book and the app, the movie, and all the things that it has become.
So Fight Like a Girl has training, it's the book series, it's the app. Is it a school? And did you start a school specifically for Fight Like a Girl, or did you start a school and Fight Like a Girl is a training you do in the school?
I started a school in the Outer Banks of North Carolina that I had for 18 years, and I started Fight Like a Girl in partnership with the school. I'd run my martial arts school, and then I would go out and do seminars for women and girls. And how it started was we'd do a free seminar, to get women to come out to learn how to protect themselves. I'm still going to say it to this day. It's quite the feat. And there's a reason that there's a problem in this country. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm pretty sure that since I know Russ, that this is going to be a bit controversial. And I'm going to put it on the women. I'm just going to say it. Ladies, you need to take care of yourself. You need to be personally responsible and learn how to protect yourself. And you can't wait until you're 20 years old. I mean, you have to learn how to protect yourself now. When you're younger, your parents have to get you into a program. You have to start talking to your children. These are the things that will help keep you safe throughout your lifetime. And that's what I ran into. So the Fight Like a Girl program was remarketed. So with the pink high heel to make it like, oh, this is really cool. It's Fight Like a Girl. It's pink high heel. Well, really, in essence, it's martial arts. Hands down, nasty. When you learn how to do it and you do it correctly, not only will you escape, but the person will have to go to the hospital. Yeah. I mean, Russ knows me. So it's not just, the ultimate goal is to escape, but if you stay in the program, you will actually learn how to disable the person and get away.
You're not talking about jazzercise. You're talking about saving people's lives.
No, I'm not talking about jazzercise, no.
Yep, you're talking it's not a cardio session at the gym. This is saving people's lives.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
How did you and Russ meet?
I was moving into an apartment here in Colorado, and I started seeing this guy around, and we just started talking. We met, I guess, we had a real conversation at the Brush Creek one night, and we started talking about our lives and what had happened. And he explained to me about what had happened to him and his martial arts career. I encouraged him to hey, you can remain a victim, or you can do something about it. And
he attributes and credits you with a lot of inspiration to reignite his interest in not only, I think, healing for himself, but being able to express this story for others.
Yes, it's not easy to express your story about your life. Everybody's all excited about the movie that's in pre-production with Meta Hara for Fight Like a Girl, but it's not easy to put your life up on the screen. And I'm sure the reason that Russ is doing it is the same exact reason that I am doing it, is because I want the message to get out there like, hey, stuff happens, shit happens. And, you can either do something about it and help other people, or you can, whine and waller in your own misery for the rest of your life. And I just lean towards helping other people, and that gives me more satisfaction than anything.
It seems like what you're proposing is really martial arts for the mental body, whereas the physical body can do all these forms and things, but the martial arts of expressing, protecting yourself, getting that out there, yes, talking to people, that's an important aspect to this whole story, I think.
Yes, it is. I mean, because if you can heal yourself mentally, then everything else physically just falls into place.
The story, Russ seems to feel that it can scare some martial artists. But the story it's not meant to demean all martial arts schools.
No.
What do you think? Why would you think that people would want to avoid Russ's story?
I don't think anybody would want to avoid Russ's story, no more than they want to avoid mine. I think people have a sense of thinking, okay, well, if this person had a bad experience in martial arts, then why would I want to subject myself to it? I don't think people would avoid his story at all. I think people will embrace it because it's not about bad martial artists. It's like you have good teachers and bad teachers, and that's in everything. It's not just in the martial arts. It's in anything. It's in the school. It's in the police department. Hello, police department. I can vouch for that one. It's everywhere. I mean, you have evil people in every facet of the community and all the career forms. And by him telling his story and saying, hey, there are people who can manipulate your mind in a bad way, in a cult form, and you don't even know it until you're already in it, which is exactly the same thing that happened to me from my ex-husband.
Fascinating. So
he actually brainwashed me from a senior in high school to the point where I married him, and that happens to people who get in abusive situations, just like Russ or anybody else. And that's all just a part of being manipulated. And I was manipulated, and he was manipulated, and it happens. And by us telling our story, that lets people know, like, hey, this is what you need to look out for. Okay, if this is happening and this person is making you put your family to the side, sell your property, and do everything for you, and push you away from your friends and family, hello, Houston, there's your sign. And that's his story is exactly the same.
That's what makes this story so interesting is the human story of being manipulated by a controlling factor. Maybe it's the martial arts school, maybe it's the husband, maybe it's the police department, maybe it's your church, maybe it's it transcends the martial arts school aspect of it. I think.
It does. And you have to be really careful because there are people out there who are going to abuse you, take your money, and just manipulate you to put themselves where they need to be, whatever that is in their own brain, whether they want to manipulate, people like, Russ or other people that were involved with his martial arts school, because number one, I think it was about money. Number two, I think it was about, I'm just going to associate it with the Jim Jones from what you've told me, Russ, about this person who, Chung Moo Quan, and what they did. I mean, personally, if you want me to help you come go after those people, I'm aboard. We will find them. I'm not afraid. I'm not at all. So I've been through too much, and when somebody does something that's wrong, it's just wrong, and you need to let people know about it.
So you are an expert in this field. You're an expert of martial arts schools. I'm the parent of a 16-year-old. Actually, I'm a parent of a 3-year-old. But if nice. I'm taking that 16-year-old boy or girl around to learn some martial arts, how do I know what a good school is? What should I look for?
Well, I'm just going to tell you, like I tell most people that have moved away and they're looking for a school to find for their child. First thing you look at is the person's black belt. Is it shredded? Is it old? Are the small children in class having a good time? Are they smiling? Or is the person such a drill sergeant that everybody looks like they're scared to death? That's what you look for as being a bystander. And certainly you can go into the class for the first time and the person can bluff you and they can say, well, and you can watch and it can look like they're having a good time, but your factor is young people, and when I say 4, 5, 6, and 7, you look at them. You ask them how they like class. They'll tell you. They're most honest people in the whole world is the little kids. And they'll look at their parent, and if their parent's not looking, and they say, hey, do you like your karate instructor? And they'll say yes or no. Yeah. And they'll say, because he's a jerk or she's a jerk. I mean, that's just an easy factor to find out if you've got a good school.
So these kids can still learn some discipline even though they're smiling.
Absolutely. I mean, martial arts should be about having fun and learning discipline. It shouldn't be so rigid and so compliant that your kid's afraid to do anything. I mean, my school was very disciplined. The kids, we were all about character. And yes, we were about discipline, but we were also about having fun and having a good time and learning. And that's what made my school so successful. And I think that's what makes Fight Like a Girl so successful, because if you look at my seminars and you look at my videos, the first demo that I do on stage is just a comedy routine of self-defense where I'm getting thrown around and I'm in my high heels and we've got a happy song playing and people are dancing and it just kind of breaks the ice and like, oh, okay, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
And then you can start showing them the good fun stuff and the serious stuff, and then you end class with something fun. Now, if you see somebody teaching a class like that, they're a good instructor.
So there are young kids learning at your school?
Oh, yes. I do private lessons at the moment. I don't do regular classes. I do private lessons with, people when I'm not traveling. I do 6 and 7 year olds. I've got people in their 50s. I've got teenagers. I've got people in their 40s. But I don't have like a full-on like regular class like I did at Outer Banks Karate, where I was working 7 days a week teaching class, because when it's time to travel for Fight Like a Girl, I want to be able to get on the plane and go.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten to that point in my life where I tell my private people, like, okay, when I fly, this is when I'm going. And they're like, okay. So, yes, I teach on a regular basis, but I don't have like a regular class every night, because that impedes me from doing what I really want to do, and that's stopping sexual assault across America.
So you're teaching these skills, and people are learning, people of all ages, and not everyone wants to be a black belt.
Exactly, and that's what the program's about. The program's about, we actually certify instructors to teach the program nationwide and in Australia as well. And when we go to a state, we teach the martial artists or just the regular person that wants to be a certified Fight Like a Girl instructor how to teach the program, because it's web-based. We have it fine-tuned. I go in, I work with them, I show them how the program works, and then when I leave, they have access to the website and the portal. That's after we've done an extensive background check on them, of course, for criminal activity, because we want to make sure that if somebody's under the coming under the crack of doing something wrong, that we have done everything in our power to make sure that they are not on the radar for any sexual assault, domestic violence, or criminal activity. And they become certified, and then they teach the class on a regular basis in their own community, and they also teach it at the martial arts schools. And then that way you have women and girls that come in to learn the class, to learn how to fight like a girl, and not to necessarily get their black belt, but just to come in and learn how to escape. And then there are other classes feed off of that, because you have a cross market. Because when mom comes in, the daughter comes in. When mom comes in, the daughter comes in, the son comes in. The son wants to take regular martial arts classes. The dad wants to take regular martial arts classes. But the girls want to take Fight Like a Girl, and then later on, everybody does everything. So it's all about getting everyone in to the martial arts world so they can learn how to protect themselves and be a good person.
So for those students that are progressing and they want to get a black belt, how long do you see that taking?
Fight Like a Girl, we have a black belt program, and we have a jersey program, which is real popular with the women. They don't want to wear the white gi. They don't want to wear any of that. They wear we have a female designed jersey. They start out with a white jersey. It's just like the white belt, and then they progress, and then they'll get the yellow jersey, which what they wear is pretty much their belt. And then if they want to get their black belt, then we can certainly test them for that. And if they come to 2 classes a week, 45 minutes a piece, they can get their black belt and fight like a girl in 3.5 years if they never miss a class, and they're absolutely perfect. So it runs about 3.5 to 4 years to get your black belt and Fight Like a Girl curriculum.
Well, because you see, Chung Moo Quan taught 8 forms of martial arts and had people getting black belts in 2 years.
You know what I call that? I call that drive-through martial arts. Here, you pay me $10,000. Here's your French fries, your black belt, and your milkshake. But at my school, it wasn't that way. I mean, it was like a minimum 5 years. Even at my school, I was a brown belt for 6 years. So it really means something to you. And we didn't give out black belts to, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. It's just, I know some people do that and it's great and it works for them, but you have to be at least 14 years old to get your black belt in our style of martial arts. And in Fight Like a Girl, it's the same thing. I mean, you got to be at least 13 or 14 before you're wearing a black jersey and Fight Like a Girl. So
You have been teaching for years and years. Obviously, woo, you teach and you continue to learn.
Yes, yes, I do.
So Chung Moo Quan was teaching these 8 forms. He must have claimed to be a master of 8 martial arts. What do you think of the idea of being a master of 8 martial arts, or claiming that?
I think that's absolutely the biggest lie I've ever heard in my entire life.
Really? So
Really?
It's a movie plot point for somebody to say they're a master of 8 martial arts skills.
It's bullshit.
Really?
Yes, really. I'm just going to say it. I mean, I've been in the martial arts for 35 years. And for somebody who says they're a master in 8 different styles of martial arts is insane. It's no way. I mean, you can either be like a master of a certain style of martial arts. You can be a master of certain weapons, of self-defense. But to be a master in 8 martial arts, that's unheard of. I don't know anybody who can even claim that. Bruce Lee, maybe. Bruce Lee, he's the only one I'll give it to. I'm not giving it to anybody else other than him.
And even then, you might have a skeptical eye and say, "Okay, well."
He's the only one. He was exceptional. He was gifted, and he used Jeet Kune Do and took the forms that he could take, and he was phenomenal. I mean, the man could do amazing things, and that's very rare. That you have someone like that.
It's a male-dominated field, obviously. How have you been treated by male masters?
Oh my God. There's a reason I've had 13 surgeries in my lifetime, 28 broken bones, 6 concussions. I have a plate in my neck, my shoulder, plate and 7 screws, and a fake knee. Why do I have all these injuries? Is because when I have stood in front of another male martial artist, they always want to try me because they're like, I can't believe this little woman can do all this. And so I will do my best to prove to them that I can do it, and I'll throw them around, and I'll show them that I can do what I can do, and I won't let them know 1 second that they've hurt me badly until after the seminar is over, and then I go to the hospital.
Right.
And that's the truth, I swear. Yes, it's a very male-dominated field, but I will say the people of Australia were the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. I went to the Fight Like a Girl seminar. They had myself and Mike Chet, who's he was the red, Power Ranger. So they had us for the 2 American guests. And when I got to the Fight Like a Girl seminar, it's the first time in my entire life I had 80% men and 20% women. And they were huge, great big guys, MMA guys. And they wanted to learn we want to learn how to start the lawnmower. We want to learn how to do this. We want to learn how to do that. And they were just great. And, I showed them all these techniques that they'd never seen before that really worked. And I was throwing them all around. And the one guy said, this one is a ripper. And I said, what's a ripper? And he goes, that's a shoulder ripper. Please show me how to do that. Because I do MMA. I said, well, I'll show you. But if you win on ESPN, I want you to look at the camera and say, I felt like a girl. And he said, I'll say it. And I'm like, no, you won't. And his partner's like, oh, yes, he will say it. So anyway, they were great. And, you come across some really great people like those people in Australia. But then more often than not, if I have a room full of 100 black belts, there will be one that will try to hurt me every time. And it doesn't work. So it doesn't work. So I've finally gotten around that. So,
Kym, is there a film of your life in the works, and what is happening with it now?
It is in the works. Metahera.com and Tamai Hatsios, I believe I'm saying that correctly. She will be producing the film, and it's www.metahera.com. The director is Barry Caldwell of Safe House Films. He's currently doing the 3rd draft of the script, and as soon as he gets that to the producer, then I think it's on like Donkey Kong. So, as you know, films take a while. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's just going to be a movie and it's ready in a year. Well, that's not the case. So we're right on track for it to be out, I think. It'll be about 5 years this year, so I'm looking forward to going production this year. I'm kind of really excited about it. So
Excellent. Will you? Is there a plan for you to be a part of the film on screen, or will you mostly take a behind-the-scenes sort of role?
we're going to be behind the scenes, myself and my karate instructor and my best friend, of course. He's going to get input. We'll be shadowed by the actors, and we'll be working with the stunt coordinators so they can learn the different way that I fight in my self-defense, and how my karate instructor had to change the way he taught a female how to fight, which is a lot about what it's about. My style is very unusual, and nobody knew how to fight me once he figured it out, and we figured out how to fight. So we'll be on set to help with the fight coordinators, and we'll be in a cameo. I'll actually be judging myself.
There you go.
So that should be interesting, because it'll be myself, my instructor, and the director has promised me that he will let my daughter judge me too. And she goes, "Oh God, I've been waiting for this my whole life." So, so we'll be in a cameo, I think, for, I don't know, probably 30 seconds.
Sure.
So.
You know, Russ really credits you with inspiring him to turn his story into something like the book, maybe perhaps a movie, certainly doing this podcast. And you were instrumental in introducing him to Barry Caldwell, isn't that right? And
That's correct.
could you tell us about that?
Barry came out to see me before I signed the movie contract. I believe it was in 2012. Actually, it was the first time in my entire life I never went home to see my family for Christmas, ever. So I was kind of in the doghouse with my parents for that. But it was necessary at the time, because there were a lot of other things going on in my hometown that was, creating a danger to me personally, because of the publicity and everything that was happening with the announcement of the movie. So he came in to work on the script, and he spent 3.5 weeks with me during Christmas. And I told Barry about Russ's story and how I thought that it was really compelling, because he had never heard a story like mine before that was absolutely true. Because he said, as someone in the film industry, you try to find a reason not to do the movie. And he couldn't find a reason not to do my movie. And then after I gave him a little bit of information about what happened to Russ, he's like, "Wow, I've never heard that either." And I said, "Well, you try to think of a reason not to do his movie. And by the way, he'll be at Rush Creek later, and I'll introduce you." And so that's what we did, and they just hit it off, and the rest is history. So.
But you will jump in front of the camera. You have done self-defense videos with Russ, I believe.
We did this video on how you can use a shopping cart to keep yourself safe during the holiday season or anytime, and how you can back in with your shopping cart rather than push your shopping cart here, put in all your bags, your kid's still in the shopping cart. Most people take their kid, they put them in the car, and then they'll put their packages in the car, they'll throw the keys in the car, and then somebody will hijack their kid and everything else, and they're gone. So we actually did a video on how to use the shopping cart, keep the criminal away from you. It was very interesting. So, I've been in front of the camera. I've been on every major news network except CNN. I'll say that. So I've been on all the news networks. I've done a lot of media, a lot of videos, been on camera a lot. I've been advisors for, news stations and so forth. And that's something that I'll continue to do.
Excellent. This is on your YouTube channel?
Yep.
What is the name of that YouTube channel?
Kym Rock, Kym, Kym Rock.
Great. So will you have a separate Fight Like a Girl YouTube channel for your web series?
Yes, I will. I will. It'll be Fight Like a Girl. The
Excellent.
Fight Like a Girl show.
The Fight Like a Girl show on the Fight Like a Girl YouTube channel.
Yeah, Fight Like a Girl's YouTube channel. Yeah.
Excellent. Would you tell us about the exciting things happening with Fight Like a Girl app?
The Fight Like a Girl app is amazing. We're trying to get it to the point where it's free. Right now it's $2.99, but I guess people would rather play Candy Crush. But it's actually saved 2 girls from being raped, and Russ helped us with the videotaping here locally, where we did the ad for Fight Like a Girl. It's an app that goes on your phone, and you can download it from iTunes and Google Play. And it's very simple. You put in your contacts. So if you get in trouble or if you're walking home late at night and you feel like somebody's following you and you're being threatened, you have two options. You have a silent alarm, and then you also have a loud alarm. And the loud alarm says police are on the way. It has a blinding flashing light and a really loud siren, which Russ can attest to, which mine went off during filming, and actually people came because I forgot to turn it off. But it does work. It gives your GPS coordinates to your family and friends, and it says, please call 911. Kym is in trouble, and it will tell your family and friends exactly where you are. And what I like about it, that I think it would be great for anyone in the office environment as well as a school environment or college environment, is for shootings. If someone is in the classroom, you can press the silent alarm and it'll still send out the alarm saying that you're in trouble. I think it's great. We worked with the app creator in Australia, and his name was Corey Selby, and they helped develop it for us. So we're proud of it. It saved 2 people so far. So.
Deceived, the Moo Years is a production of Deja Moo, LLC. Recorded and produced by Alive and Social Podcast Network. Russell Johnson, producer and writer. Charles Hubbell, host and narrator. David Bruskin, editor. Russ Meyer, co-writer and editor. Aaron Tro, sound producer. Brian Price, audio editor. Wyatt Sarber, recording engineer and editor. Woon Tae Ryu is our advisor in South Korea. Authentic is our advertising representative. Deceived, the Moo Years is represented by Young Entertainment Law.